you're not coaching this game. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah. So how do you manage that, and what are you expecting out of your coaching staff? Is it sort of seamless for you, or?
Yeah, we've been together for so long. I'm not sure it's a big difference whether I'm on the sideline or the other guys. And during games either way, we're all kind of active anyway and discuss everything as a group and as a staff. So I don't expect it to be a big change either in performance or in feeling for the guys during the game. And the work during the week doesn't change at all. Preparation doesn't change at all. So it's just the lack of maybe my annoying voice in the locker room before they go out.
Yeah. I know you don't want to address sort of your departure, but I'm just wondering if you could speak to how the team reacted to that and what the expectations are moving forward in the season. Is this a piece of extra motivation for them? Do you see it that way? How does this factor into the mentality of the group?
Well, all we have to judge it off of is the last performance in Portland, and if that's the case, then I thought the performance was excellent, the mentality was excellent, and I couldn't have been more proud of the guys.
Yeah. You see Phil Neville was fine for his comments, supportive of you, and sort of against the officials?
I didn't see he was fine, but I did text Phil afterwards and appreciated the support. I think it's important that coaches stick together, and sometimes it's difficult to provide emotions in games, which is important for our sport and the growth of our sport in this country, but at the same time, we're asked not to. And so it's a fine line that the officials have to judge. That's their jobs. And in this case, it's my job to accept the punishment, and I do. And I think, I think it's, again, sometimes not always the right call to always go to the punishment and sanction coaches. I think it's better to talk and communicate, to work on a solution together rather than just to pass out punishments.
I can just ask more on the additions that you made, Frankie Amaya and Ryan Raposo. What's your expectation for them coming in? How soon we see them on the field?
Yeah, both players are very familiar with our league and LAFC, and so both players have a lot of experience starting games, playing games, and we see them helping our group in games, in training. Will allow us to rotate more and to keep the tempo of games and the intensity up at all times and take no breaks. So it's another step towards being a complete roster, and we couldn't be happier signing those two players. And I think for Frankie, he could see the field very soon. And for Ryan, we just need to wait on arrival, physicals, and that all fun stuff.
Hey Steve, I wanted to ask you about Nathan Ordaz. What have you seen of him? His role has been growing. What does he bring to the team?
Yeah, Nathan has been with us for a very long time in our academy, and so we know him very well. And trying to integrate academy players into first team in this league and teams who play in multiple competitions, who have high ambitions, is very difficult. It's a huge jump for our academy players. And Nate has taken, it's about a 2-year process really, but he has this season come on very strong. He worked really hard on his fitness in the off season, and he came in and proved from day one in preseason that he wants to play, and he deserves to play. And so I think Nate gives us verticality, Nate gives us mobility, and he also understands how to finish plays.
Same question about other young player, David Martinez. His personality also with so many stars and veteran players on the team.
Yeah, David is an extremely talented player who also shows at times that he's unstoppable. For most young players, it's important to show what you can do, but it's then the next step is to do that consistently. And instead of producing, every 10th game an amazing performance and then 5 bad ones, let's have 10 good performances, above average performances, and I think that's the next step for him, to be a contributor more frequently.
All right, we will switch over to Zoom. We'll go to Andy.
Thanks. Hey, Steve. I know your decision to leave the team at the end of the season probably doesn't change much of the approach, but I'm just curious, and maybe emotions, if you have anything you want to share in terms of kind of just going for the rest of the season and knowing what you've done in the past for LAFC and walking away from that eventually.
No, again, I'm just really focused on for me tomorrow, and then and I'll observe the match on Sunday. But I'm just focused on what we still want to accomplish this season. Not a super emotional person at work, and there's time for that later. We can sit down and talk about after the season if you'd like.
I'll be waiting for that, Steve.
All right.
Thank you, Andy. We'll go to Daniel.
Hey, Steve, towards the end of the Portland match, we saw David Martinez, Cengiz Sunder, Jeremy Abovasi, and Denny Boanga all on the field together. Is that an attacking look we might see more often going forward, or is that more of a reflection of the situation and the need to chase a goal?
Yeah, I think the latter. But it's certainly an option. It's not something we've done very often, so it's something we also have to train and spend time perfecting. But we intend to use every player in our roster to win games, and hopefully we're not chasing too many games moving forward. But it's an option.
Thanks, Steve. And Olivier Giroud seems to be settling in. He scored his first goal against Portland, but even before that, he impacted the game in a meaningful way against San Jose. From your perspective, what's changed for him recently, and what kind of role can we expect him to play moving forward?
Yeah, I think there's two things, two noticeable differences in the performances. Activity, he's more active, and a little bit of confidence, and that's it. That's all it takes. He's never been far off. And any player or attacker who's not scoring, it doesn't take much. It just takes maybe a moment, and it takes a little more activity and sometimes simplifying things. And in his case, it's just being more active. And he's been doing that. His energy's been great. His effort's been great. And from my perspective, it looks like he's also enjoying his football again, which is also a very important component for me personally that players have when they're out in the field.
Thanks, Steve.
All right, thank you, Daniel. We'll go to Celsa.
Hey, Steve, 4 years as a head coach in Major League Soccer. Just curious on where you see the league today, particularly Sunday night soccer, for example. What do you think of that move? LAFC is going to be featured on that, and it's a good way to get this league to grow internationally, which I think it's still a bit of a challenge. So what are your thoughts on that after spending 4 years in a head coaching position here?
Every day or every evening that there's no game on TV is for me not a fun one. So I would love to watch a game every night, and scattering start times throughout the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, maybe even Monday, works for some leagues. I'm not going to chime in on this conversation and give my 2 cents, but I love watching the game, and I love also sometimes, if I can, turning off my coaching brain and just being a fan. And so, yeah, the more we can play and the more we can show what we can do, the happier we are. And yes, this league continues to grow, but it wouldn't be. I don't think it would be very American to try to stop growing until and get bigger and better, because the sky's the limits, and I'm fully expecting that, and I'm very hopeful that we can get there someday.
Mark, just first on Steve's decision, and one of the reasons you came over here was you connected with Steve and you connected with John, and now to know that Steve's not going to be here after this year, and the way that sort of went about, just your reaction to it, and how you think, what you think about his decision, if you don't mind addressing it.
I think it's just a personal decision, right? At the end of the day, family's everything. It was a key decision for me to stay here as well. My wife's from here, and so. And I had other opportunities to go elsewhere, but ultimately the opportunity to be here was on the table. It was just a plus in my decision to come here. So I completely understand, especially when you have kids. I don't understand that side, but I know when you have kids, your life changes and your life revolves around them. So totally respect his decision to go back to Germany. He addressed that to a few of us before announcing it to the whole team. So, that's all I can really say. I respect his decision, right? On the other side of it, there's not much. I was hoping to spend more time with him, but unfortunately that's not the case. But you never know in life. Things happen. So it's just part of life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's the knock-on effect for you guys the rest of the season? Is it a factor? And is it sort of a, it's happening, waiting for Steve? I mean, how do you
Yeah,
how do you process this one?
I mean, we talked about it with Steve. Let's just have fun out there. Let's make the most of the time we have together, and let's just have fun out there. So let's be competitive. Let's enjoy the time we have with each other, and yeah, let's go out there and let's make the most of our time together.
I asked him
Yeah.
where we may see some of the effect of that, just in terms of like inspirational, and he said our performance in Portland, if the guys keep up that kind of energy, I think that's a sign of what we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Is that in your mind correct? Like the effort you guys laid out in Portland, sort of something to do with, hey, we have a new dynamic we have to deal with, and like let's move forward in a good way with that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've always had key points where we had moments where things looked really good, but it was just about now having a complete performance, right? I think Portland was an example of that, where we did have a good performance. We had a few errors and we got punished for it, but ultimately we stuck to what we've always trained, what we've always practiced, the ideas they always give us, and ultimately we had opportunities. We were creating chaos for them, and we were able to come back. So the mindset to be able to still stay in the game and still dig deep was huge all around, for sure.
Last one for me. First Sunday night soccer experience, a new sort of dynamic within MLS.
Okay.
What do you? Well, first Sunday night for you guys is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What do you make of that? Does it mean anything to you? Does it feel like the spotlight's on this game? What's your take from Sunday night?
It's fun. Yeah, I mean, it's fun. I mean, yeah, the less games there are, the more spotlights on you, and I like that. I like that you got to rise to the occasion, right? You got more eyes on you, so I think it's a big opportunity to showcase what you're made of, what you can offer, and set the tone for the rest of the league and have everybody on watch. So if we can perform well like we did the last 2 games, where we got a result and then we came back from behind, and if we can really put all that together and show what we're all about, that would be huge.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, we'll switch over to Zoom. We'll start with Daniel.
Mark, you've become a really steady presence in LAFC's midfield since your arrival. How would you describe your role within the team? Are you enjoying the position and responsibilities that you've been given?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely enjoying my time here. The role is a little different than what I'm used to. So it's been a little bit of an adjustment, but I wouldn't say anything bad at all. It's just I've come to the understanding where less is more, and if that helps the team, that's what I'm all about. So that's what's got me a lot of success. That's what's kept me around this league for so long, and that's what attracts, I guess, managers to my style of play. Right, I'm very easy to coach. I take in a lot of information, and whatever is needed from me. I do the best of my ability to do that. So, yeah. Aside from that, I've been definitely enjoying my time here, getting along with everyone, enjoying Steve while we still have him around as head coach. And yeah, and I look forward to the rest of the season.
When you say that your role is a little bit different, do you see yourself more as a six? Do you see yourself as someone who carries the ball a little bit more? I know you're one of the league leaders in progressive passes, but I know it's not the same position that you've been playing.
Yeah. It's more or less staying more home. I've been more of a guy who creates space for others. Making more runs in behind the back line, very very much having a partnership with I would say the triangle, where it's myself, the winger, and the outside back on my side, where we're rotating a lot. It's a lot of free flow. But here is more of a stay at home, don't get crossed up too much, and stay more connected to the midfield partnership. So that's where the change is, and that's where I say, less is more. So I've been able to take in the information they've showed me and given me, and really try to, show that on the field. And, they've been pleased with it, so I'm happy. And the team's performing, team's turning the corner, and we're starting to turn things up for sure. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Mark, I know it's been a few weeks, but after the loss to Inter Miami, there's still some discontent amongst the supporters regarding the squad. What message would you want to share with the supporters about where this team is and what's ahead?
Yeah. I mean, it was a disappointing performance, but I would say the team's hungry for what's next. We have MLS Cup coming, we have Supporters Shield still out there, and we still have Leagues Cup as an opportunity as well. And since then, I think that's definitely a wake-up call to us. We showed what we can do, but we didn't put away our chances. Now we gotta put everything together, and we'll definitely do that for not just ourselves, but for you guys, for the club, and we're not taking anything lightly out here. We're working our butts off, and we definitely want to succeed with you guys right there with us.
Thanks, Mark.
Yep.
Thank you, Daniel. Go to Andy.
Thanks, hey Mark. The two for me, I know you mentioned that you said Steve had kind of told a few of the guys prior to announcement to the team, and I remember Aaron said that the other day as well. Curious, what was that setting? Was it kind of just the first time he pulled over? Like, who did he have? Who did he pull over? How did that kind of happen?
Without saying too much, because I feel like that's a very personal thing to talk about. Just pulled a few of us over, called a few of us into his office, and just kind of addressed the situation, so that way we're in the known and we're not, caught by surprise. So that was basically it. Yeah.
Mark, and unrelated, not to make you talk about your former team, but I know you're obviously aware of how the Galaxy have gotten up this season. I'm just curious your thought on how difficult it is to go from being a champion to, I guess, franchise a team to kind of try to respond in a way that they're obviously struggling to in the end of the year.
I mean, it's not much to say to that. It's tough with the MLS rules. The MLS rules with players wanting new contracts, it's really tough. It's not much you can do. You're going to lose players. The team's going to change. You're put in a tough situation right off the bat. And then having to compete in CONCACAF as well. Listen, I've experienced it with Toronto. It was tough. It was hard. So there's not much to say to that. Your hands are tied in that situation, and you gotta make do with the rules of the league. And that's pretty much it.
Mark, the last one here, I know it hasn't been much time, but teams bringing in some new midfielders. Just want to know the dynamic of that, how that kind of, I don't know, I want to say changes the midfield, but kind of motivates you guys individually to kind of have a committee and have a little bit more depth.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the beginning of that question.
I said just a comment on the team bringing in some more midfielders and,
okay.
And kind of how that changes the dynamic of the midfield and in the locker room and in training as well.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't change too much of the dynamic. I mean, you're just adding more ammunition, right? You're creating more of a competitive environment, which is great. It's a good thing to have. There will always be competition in training, so there will be, well, not like there ever is any light days, but there will be more competition in the aspect of wanting to be the other guy on the other side. And then that'll definitely translate over to the field. And how do we motivate ourselves? I mean, we're all competitive people, and we all want to win. So it's that easy, right? And then what you do in training translates over to the weekend. So it's that easy, right? And then we have the fans, we have the club behind us, and we have everything we need here to be successful. So it's a beautiful thing to have, and like I said, the pressure creates diamonds. So we look forward to it.
Thanks, Mark.
Yep.
All right, thank you, Mark. We'll be back shortly with Frankie Amaya.
Frankie, welcome to LAFC. What does it feel like to return home to Los Angeles? And what do you make of the opportunity you have to be here with LAFC?
Yeah, I mean, it feels amazing to be close to home. 40-minute drive. Being from Santa Ana, it's always been a dream to play close to my house in front of my family and friends. And no, it feels amazing to get this opportunity, and I'm going to take full advantage of it day in, day out, and work really hard to make the best out of it.
What did you take from your time in Liga MX, and what does it feel like for you to return to MLS?
Yeah, no, it was a different experience for sure. It's always good to get out of your comfort zone and go to a different league and play somewhere else. It was good. It was good to learn new things, from players, from coaches, and I'm happy to be back in MLS and obviously closer to home.
And last for me, how do you feel like you're going to be able to contribute over 2025? And are you a new or different player than we've seen in MLS before, or how have you grown?
Yeah, I think I grew a little bit. I think I got a little sharper and stuff. But yeah, I think I have the same qualities to work hard. I'm very good off the ball and technically very good too. And I just want to show what I showed the last 6 years I've been in MLS. And no, it feels good to be back and to play with a very strong team like LAFC. Very good players, very good team. It feels good to get back to work.
Frankie, háblame sobre tus raíces latinas, ¿no? ¿Qué tan orgulloso estás y qué tan cómodo te sientes de regresar aquí con tu familia, con tantos paisanos en California?
No, pues sí, soy mexicano, americano, mis papás son de México, de Guerrero, y me siento muy bien, muy orgulloso de estar en Los Ángeles. Hay muchas personas mexicanas y no, tengo mi vida 18 años aquí, me siento feliz de estar en LAFC y es un buen nivel para mi carrera, para seguir avanzando y seguir creciendo y listo para trabajar.
Si me puedes platicar un poco con detalle cómo fue tu paso por la Liga MX, qué destacas, qué aprendiste, qué te pareció.
No, sí, Liga MX es muy diferente de la MLS y no, aprendí muchas cosas con diferentes jugadores. Tenía en el Toluca era un gran nivel con jugadores muy buenos también y aprendiendo un poco de los jugadores que jugué y también los entrenadores es muy diferente y pues me la pasé muy bien ahí, pero pues me faltaba jugar un poco y quiero regresar y jugar y ayudar al equipo.
Bienvenido de vuelta, gracias.
Gracias.
All right, we'll switch over to Zoom. Daniel?
Hey, Frankie, welcome to LAFC. What role and position do you see yourself playing here at LAFC, and what conversations have you had with the coaching staff about how you'll fit into the team?
Yeah, I think anywhere in the midfield is fine. The 6 or the 8 position, I think I'm comfortable in both of them, and yeah, I think I fit extremely well in the midfield with this team that likes to possess the ball, and obviously they're really good on the counter attack. I think it fits my style, and I'm just looking forward to being with the team and getting adapted and comfortable with my teammates.
Steve mentioned that you could be ready to contribute meaningful minutes fairly soon. So how familiar are you with the system of play, style of play? How comfortable do you feel adapting to it quickly?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of a different system, but I think I'm very comfortable adapting super fast. I'm ready to go. I've been wanting to play already, and I'm looking forward to the first game. If it's on Sunday, then I'm happy to do it. But if I gotta wait a little bit, it's no problem. But I'm ready to go, and I feel good.
Well, and Frankie, last question, just from an outsider's perspective, how do you view LAFC as a whole, including the supporters and the organization?
No, I mean, it's top of the line. I think the fans are amazing. Obviously, you can see it day in, day out, every game. From an outside perspective, I mean, it's a great team. They're always, obviously, they're winning trophies, and I mean, always getting into big spots and finals, semifinals. You know, it's a good team to compete in, and I'm ready to help contribute to that team and do everything in my power to help the team and to succeed.
Thanks, Frankie. Good luck with everything.
Thank you.